Hey there. Hoo hoo hoo. We're gonna have fun today. It's such a last minute thing too. Um, again, I apologize for everybody because I'm sure there's not very many people that come on to watch when I post something so so last minute. But it kind of came up out of the blue, and I'll tell you what happened. So when I was a kid, I had a whole bunch of different computers and game consoles, and one of the ones I had was an Atari 600, the 600 XL, and you can see it here. So this is such a funny story. So what happened was um, I was watching The Angry Video Game Nerd last week on it's on Amazon Prime, I think, if you guys want to check it out. Not the YouTube version, but the actual like movie he made. He actually made a movie, and it was about the ET game crashing, the video game industry, all kind of stuff. But it was good because it was a good story. But anyway, out of the story, as I was watching it, we kept talking about Atari, and then in the background there was a couple like Atari computers that kept showing up, and that had me think about when I was younger that I had an Atari 600. I had this version of the computer, and I think they were 48K of RAM, and they ran a 6502 processor. Now the megahertz speed is somewhat irrelevant because back then the video, the NTSC or PAL video was synchronized by the crystal, which was also run off the clock speed of the chip. So really all Commodores and Ataris and all those computers at that era were all about the same clock frequency because they had to run off the same, they had to produce the same video signal. So PAL computers, believe it or not, PAL from in Europe, in the UK, those computers ran actually faster than the North American NTSC computers because they had to generate a faster signal. So anyway, I digress. That's beside the point. But what I'm actually talking about here is that this computer all of a sudden popped into my mind. I forgot it existed, and I only had two cartridges for it. That's it, just two. And it's funny because I had pole position and Qbert, and I couldn't find on the internet anywhere any of these cartridges that actually worked. Not the internet, sorry. I couldn't find in the stores anywhere cartridges that worked with this. So I apologize for a second. I just have to move some things around on my screen here. Okay, we're golden. So anyways, I couldn't find any other cartridges because the Atari 2600, that's where all the cartridges were, right? For 2600, and they were for the ColecoVision and and then eventually like Nintendo about the same time as well. So it was at the trailing end of the 2600 when the Nintendo was really coming out. That's when I had this, and it was given to me from my dad because I don't know if many of you guys know this, but I grew up in a business. It pretty much was a business. I grew up in a family of video games and computers, and they owned computer companies, and they also owned video game systems, like actual video games, like part of Neo Geo, a bunch of other different interesting things. But my father was really big into the amusement industry because of that, and when he bought one of the businesses, and it was an arcade he bought, um, the the video games that they had were cabinets that were blank. They had no sides on them or anything. And inside of one of them was a pole position game. So it had the steering wheel and it had the shifter. But if you opened it up, there was no pole position um, motherboard. It was actually one of these Atari 600 computers inside of it. And what the guy had done of this company that my dad had bought is he hooked up the start button here to the push button on the, oh no, to the coin. So when you put a coin in, it would push the start button. It would start the game automatically for you. And then he hooked up the brake pedal and the steering wheel to the joystick. And he made a little circuit board so that when you turn the steering wheel, because the steering wheel back then it used, I think they probably still do, but they were encoders. They're just wheel encoders with little holes inside of it, an LED that can flicker when you move the wheel in different directions. It can tell. And then he turned that signal into just a plain signal. I don't even know if it was an analog signal. Maybe these had an analog input on the joystick port, but either way, so that's where I got mine from. Is after my dad bought this one company, we went there to the arcade and we were going through the warehouse, and there was a pole position cabinet. And I opened it up, and it had an Atari 600 inside of it in the back, and it was all like bolted down with brackets and stuff. So I was like, sweet. So my dad's like, yeah, you can have that. So I took it home. Later, I only had one game because of it. We had the cartridge with pole position, and then later, maybe within a week, we found another game that was in there, and it had Cubert, and it had another Atari 600 inside of it. So I guess it was cheaper to buy these Ataris than it was to buy the actual circuit board for the real game. And I mean, when you think about it too, like the Atari 600 did not produce amazing graphics. So it wasn't like they were fooling anybody. Nobody who had an Atari 600 and played the real version of the pole position, I'm sure you would have seen the difference. You would have noticed it without a doubt. So, but I mean, if you put it at a bar or you put it someplace where people don't really pay attention to what they're playing, maybe they'll put a quarter in. So this guy got away with it, and I think that's actually pretty ingenious of him to when you think about it, to be able to hook up these video game consoles. Now, it is illegal though, right? It's super illegal. It's like buying a copy of a movie like X-Men, Avengers at Walmart and then renting it out to your friends, right? Like Blockbuster didn't just buy a single DVD of like from Blockbuster and rent it to people. They had to buy a very specific version with a very specific licensing model and it costs a lot of money for them to do it. So video games were the same way. You couldn't just buy an Atari and put it in the cabinet. So anyway, it's a long story to tell you what's about this computer, and I have more, so we're not done yet. The next thing I think is really interesting about this computer is that after watching this Angry Video Game Nerd movie, the AVGN movie last week, and I found this on eBay, it didn't have a power supply. It did say it had a manual, which I thought was kind of interesting, but no power supply. And it said, not sure if it works. And that's perfect because I don't want to buy something that works. I don't care. I mean, I would like it to at least be in good condition, but I'm going to be tearing it apart anyway because we're going to be installing into it a Raspberry Pi, and I have here a couple Arduinos. We're going to solder these up, and then we're going to hook up the Arduinos to the keyboard in here, and we're also going to hook up the joystick to it as well. So we're going to turn this thing like I do with all my video game consoles, so I can add it to my video game collection. Here, let me show you a photo because I recently took a photo of my video game collection at home. And I don't know if I can share my desktop. There we go. So this is actually in my living room. This is pretty neat. So I have, like over here is my fireplace, and I have couches all around here and sofas. So this is an end table or a coffee table that I found, and I liked it a lot because it had glass, and it also has like a space in between. So these consoles are all consoles that you can find on my channel that I've been hacking, and I've been putting Raspberry Pis in them. In most cases, I don't have to make a lot of changes to the emulators. In most cases, the emulators seem to work pretty decently with RetroPie. But because I want the game console itself, then the buttons and everything, the joysticks, original joysticks, to work with it, I do have to make some changes to the emulators. So you'll find in my channel under any of these consoles, you'll find that there's GitHub repositories with versions of the emulators that I've had to modify. The Commodore 64, there required modifications for that. The Intellivision did not require any modifications. The Fairchild required a ton. I had to do a bunch of modifications for the buttons on the console. Same with the Atari. I had to make a bunch of changes to that. The Coleco, I didn't have to make much. I don't think I made many changes at all. The Apple, however, was a really interesting hack because I reverse engineered the keyboard like I did with the Commodore and the Intellivision keyboard and everything else. I always reverse engineer it like I'm going to do tonight. But I did some really neat stuff with the Atari, so you might want to check out or the Apple, sorry, with the Apple II. You might want to check out that hack. I made it so that different key combinations allow you to have upper and lower case, and also allow you to use the joystick as a mouse instead of actually really a mouse. So that was really fun to do. I like the Apple II for that. I also believe on my C64, yes, on my C64 I put X Windows on it at one point, And I also modified it so with a keystroke, you can use the joystick to control the mouse around. And it has momentum and inertia that increases, so it starts speeding up and slowing down as the longer you hold it in a different direction. So that was actually a pretty cool little thing. So back to what we're actually doing here with this, and there's more story to it. So I went onto eBay. You've been jumping around so much. I went onto eBay, and it had Atari with a manual, no power supply, in good shape, it says. And if you ask me, I think this is in really great shape. I could use some retro brighting up here. It's not as white as it could be. Let me see. Here's some white paper next to it. Can I get an idea of the color, how brown it is? So it has been browned yellowed over the last number of years. Maybe underneath you can see how white it is here versus here. Doesn't look so bad when you look at it here with the camera, but there is a yellowing. So I did clean it up a little bit. I put some peroxide on it yesterday and just rubbed it in. I didn't heat it up or put it in the sun. I didn't do a full 8-bit guy on it, but I can, right? I mean, there's time. Most people like to get things looking good right away out of their hack, and I'm more about like, let's just make this thing work, right? Let's play some pole position and keyword on this thing. That's what I'm most excited about. So I went onto eBay last week after finding it on eBay. It was $100 Canadian, which I think was a lot of money for something that we don't know if it actually works or not. But let me tell you, the next day I got an email from eBay saying, hey, your product is being shipped. And I was like, nice, my Atari is going to show up. And it showed me the original, like the address of the person who's going to send it to me. And it's from, this is so crazy, it's from Thunder Bay, Ontario, the city that I was born in. Like the small city in Northern Ontario, Canada, in the middle of nowhere. So this could technically actually be my Atari, right? Like, isn't that crazy to imagine? So the person who's selling it, I have their name and everything. I'm not going to say it here, but I reached out to them and I want to ask more questions, like where did you get it? How did you get hold of this? Because I know that mine was sold at a yard sale when I was a kid. So there's a chance. Like this was not a super popular system. So perhaps this was actually my Atari that I bought back. Now you got to remember, I don't even know how long ago that yard sale we had was. It was a long time ago, but it could have sold for. You got to think, right? Like this thing was so outdated by the time we sold it. Maybe we sold it for $10. Maybe $5, right? Because Windows 95 was out by then. Like nobody was using this thing, right? So I would have sold it, say, for $5. Got my $5 bill, bought a couple chocolate bars or something, and now you fast forward 25 years, and here we are. I'm buying it back for $100 with less parts that I sold it to. There's no joystick anymore, but I do have joysticks for it, so we'll get to that. But I think it's really remarkable that I bought something off eBay that came from the city I grew up in, which is a very small city in Northern Ontario. It's isolated. Like if you told me here in Calgary that you came across an Atari 600 at a store, like at a flea market, and you would say to yourself, "Oh, I had an Atari 600. I wonder if it's mine." Chances of that happening is pretty slim. I mean, there's 1 point something million people here. The nearest city to us is 3 hours. Red Deer is 200,000 people, and it's an hour away. And Edmonton has over 1 million people, and it's 3 hours away. And Vancouver is right next door. So what I'm getting at is there's so many cities like around where I'm at that a product like this can just move around and transition itself through all these different cities. Where I'm from, the nearest city is a 12-hour drive. Okay, so it's not like and that's Winnipeg. And Winnipeg is like, ugh, right? I mean, they got the Jets, so yay. But we're Canadian, right? So we talk hockey. That's how we refer to cities. It's like, oh, what city are you from? Ah, I'm from the Calgary Flames. Oh, okay, cool. So it's just really awesome to think that this could be mine. Is there any markings that I can think of? I don't really want to say anything about that because I think I would just be, if I tried to imagine if there was markings on this thing that I remember as a kid, I would truly be imagining it, right? Like, let me tell you that when I first saw this and I knew it was from Thunder Bay, I got excited because it was all scratched right here. And I thought, oh, wow, I remember mine being scratched right there. That's just me drawing some, conclusions. My brain and my head's going, oh my God, I got some ideas. It's, I can't identify if it's actually mine, but just the thought of it could be mine is what gets me super, super stoked. So yeah, before we open this thing up, let's talk about what we're going to do. I have a Raspberry Pi, and I have these DB9 male connectors, and I also 3D printed this little bracket, which these will go in. And then we're going to put a screw through here to hold them in place. And then these are going to go inside, not on the outside, but inside where these joystick connectors are, so that we can use the original, when we grab them for you, Atari joysticks, because of course I have these. You can actually buy replicas of this joystick style from Amazon, and they have USB, so you can plug them right into your computer. And that they're 25 bucks Canadian. So that's, what's that in US? $25 Canadian is about what, $2.50 US or something? I don't know. But not right now, not with your dollar. But these are the originals. They use the DB9 connectors. And I have a whole bunch of these. So that's what we're going to use, because I like to replace the original hardware with original hardware. So that's what we're going to do. I've also already installed on the Raspberry Pi earlier today, because I was so excited about this hack, that I already installed RetroPie, and I've already put all of the Atari games I can find, the disk images, from archive.org. So this will already boot up. I'll walk through so you can see how I set it up already, and it's really easy to do. It doesn't take very long. So also, in order to connect the joysticks and the keyboard, we're going to use these Arduinos. So these are Arduino Pro Micros, they're called. And they're essentially a Leonardo that is a no-name brand version of it. So what's great about these is the code you put onto these chips talks directly to USB, which means you can emulate a USB HID device. Like you can emulate a joystick, or you can emulate a keyboard, in which case we're going to do both of those. We're going to emulate 2 joysticks and 1 keyboard. Now, this also on the side here has buttons for start, select, option, and reset, and help. So these buttons need to be hooked up as well. And we'll take a look on the internet. There, I did find a schematic that talked about the keyboard and how it worked. So these are going to have to be hooked up as well to the joystick port, because there aren't enough free pins on the keyboard to work. And I also noticed in the emulator that specific buttons in the actual joysticks hook up to these. Boom, boom, boom. So what that means is we're going to have, hopefully tonight, have a functioning Atari with running on a Raspberry Pi emulated. Okay, let me put some things away, because we'll do the joysticks in a bit. So first thing we got to do is let's take a look at this manual. Yeah, look at that. I love these manuals. I think if we look again on my desktop here, I have the Atari manual, I have the Fairchild Channel F manual, I have the Intellivision manual. I also have right here an AppleSoft manual, and this is an older picture. I took this one not like a little longer ago, because I've recently received another off eBay book, the actual true Apple II manual, which has like all the the registers in the ROM and addresses as well, and monitor, which was the WASMON, right, for programming in monitor, which is equivalent to their assembly. Yeah, so I got all that. It's pretty exciting. The manuals I am missing. I'm missing a manual for. I think I have the Colecos. I'm pretty certain I do, but I am missing the Commodore 64 manual, I believe. I don't know. I did have one, and I know I have a Commodore 64. I have another one here. This Commodore 64 that's here was actually the Commodore 64 I had as a kid. It's my original. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I actually have it. So, when we talked about today's beer, I'm excited about this. I only have one left because they're really good. So, this is a neat beer. This is Innocent Gun. It's pretty strong, 6.6%. But it is from Scotland, and they are a very small company. I didn't know this. They're not owned by the huge conglomerates that all other beer companies are owned by. They are truly an independent, and you would never guess it because they're great styling and really tasty beer. Really good. This has hints of, it says in the package, but it has hints of vanilla and toffee, and it really does. It's almost a sweeter beer, but Scotch ale, bourbon barrel Scotch ale, really good. Okay, so I'll be sipping on that tonight. All right, let's take a look at the manual here. This is so cool. It brings back so many memories. Wow. So you can see here that powerful new computer, Atari 600, takes you into the exciting world of the information revolution. Oh my gosh. Just think about this, right? Here we are talking over like fiber and satellite and buried underground cables that go transatlantic right under oceans using this massive network that wasn't even barely conceived, right? It was just, it was in sci-fi. It was in William Gibson books. It wasn't a thing that people actually thought was going to happen at some point or as quick as it did. And we're reading a manual that couldn't even fathom, right? This thing couldn't connect to the internet. But they're using it, they're actually saying the world of the information revolution. That's what they're saying. Connect the 600 XL to your television. So, that's great. You can write and edit on the screen, create original graphic designs, and program with Atari Basic. And they put Atari Basic in capital letters here. There's a story about the Atari Basic, and I don't really want to get into too much detail about it because I'll probably get some facts wrong. But I believe Atari. Oh no, that's Commodore. I have my facts wrong right off the gate. The Commodore licensed BASIC from Microsoft and licensed one copy and then used that one copy on all of their ROMs for every single computer. And that's a pretty interesting story. Lazy Game Reviewers and let's say 8-Bit Guy, I think he talks about it a little bit as well. And there's a couple of those guys. They chat about the history of the Commodore and everything. But you can read more about it on YouTube. But this is Atari Basic, so I don't know who made Atari Basic. So I actually don't have any facts around that. Your computer gives you access to a large family of Atari products. With the right accessories and programs, you can compose music, play computer chess, computer games, Atari home computer owners, or balance your budget. You can balance your budget with this. There's no limit which your computer can do. It's interesting. Apple, when you open up an Apple manual, it is the fonts, like this is dating back like the original Apple II manual. It's dating back so long ago, yet everything about it is just designed so well. And these lines going through all the words, I mean, there's not a lot of thought that went through this. You can tell right away that, yeah. So testing the system. Looks like it's got a built-in self-test program. You do memory, audio, visual, and keyboard. So there's something built in the ROM here that allows you to do it. I recall that. I remember you held down a button when you turn it on. You go in the self-tests, the test menu. Yeah, I remember there was a button. I think it was like option or something you held down when you turned it on. And then to talk about the software and memory and cartridges. And it's got an example cartridge here. It's Atari Writer, the word processor. Oh, the keyboard. Look, they introduced what a keyboard is because you had to, people didn't know what a keyboard was back then, right? You had a typewriter. You didn't know what a keyboard could do. Many keys on the computer keyboard function the same as a typewriter, it says, right off the bat. Let you know that. Don't worry. It's the same thing as a typewriter, but better. Commands. You got all these buttons here. Break usually interrupts what you're doing. Escape. Because yeah, escape, like a lot of these buttons, you wouldn't know what they were back in the day. You'd have no idea. Holy moly. Reverse video. Turns reverse video mode on. Auto repeat when you hold down a key. Interesting. Oh, Control 1 stops the TV display. Press again to continue. Control 2 sounds a buzzer, and Control 3 marks the end of a file for input from the keyboard. What that means. Graphics. There's 29 graphic characters built in the computer keyboard. They allow you to build graphics, make charts, and draw pictures. So that's interesting. That now I know you can actually draw pixels, but you remember even with Commodore 64, they'd have all those little graphic characters. Because the idea was that you can use text mode to actually use graphic characters on the screen to be able to draw. It was quicker, especially if you're in BASIC, than actually trying to draw it on the screen. And then here we talk about Atari BASIC a little bit, and it shows you how to do some graphics and different graphic modes you can put it into, and you can set colors and this brings back so many memories. And they get into all of the information. Oh my gosh. Books and magazines about the maintenance tips, computer printers. Wow. And then it goes right into German, it looks like. So this is all different languages. It's not all English and just a big manual. There's only a few pages per user, but they cover a lot. So if you got it out of the box, that's cool. So I hope you're as excited as I am to see what this is going to look like when we power it up on the emulator. This is going to be great. All right, the first thing we're going to do is let's take this thing apart. It's like opening a tomb. I wonder if it's never been apart, right? Chances are, unless it truly is mine from when I was a kid, because I would have taken it apart. That's what I did. To get in trouble for taking stuff apart. Didn't matter what we bought. There's a toaster, didn't matter. I would take it apart. My mom would never leave me alone with something that was electric. And it got to a point in life where she just accepted that it would come apart. It always went back together and worked. It's not like she ever, got really upset with like, what you're doing is breaking the family. Okay, here we go. Cool. Oh, what's this? The Great Big Company. Look at this. PIN number 003 bank 60. What is Amanda Nelson? Who are you, Amanda Nelson? Huh. Phone number. She's her business card here. It says that she lives at 888 Armand Drive in Funville. Her telephone number is 555-2468. It looks like it's from some sort of game. Huh. I don't recall having a friend named Amanda Nelson, so I don't know. Maybe this is not mine. But then again, like I said, it was sold at a yard sale, so it could have ended up anywhere. So maybe this is. So I wonder if there's Amanda Nelson in Thunder Bay, Ontario, that maybe she'll remember this card that she made when she was a child, because she's got pretty good handwriting. Girls always, I don't know what it is. Girls just always have like nice fluid handwriting. When you look at man's writing, it's just like mine. Oh, mine's terrible. Terrible. Wow, very good. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put this to the side here so I don't forget it. All right, back into the Atari here. So we have this is oh gosh. Okay, got it out. This is a ribbon connector, but it's not really even a ribbon connector. It looks like it's the membrane for the whole keyboard. Wow. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. So we want to use this keyboard, right? We want to write some code on the Arduino that allows us to reverse engineer the keyboard and use it as a real keyboard. So we're going to have to hook into this somehow. So I'm guessing our solution is going to be to hook into the, like, take this right off the board. Because I don't want to cut this board up, I want to keep it. So let's see, we'll get rid of all these things we don't need. Pardon all my noise. All right, so here's the board itself. Looks like we have an Atari chip on it, dated 1979. Is that ever interesting? 1979. So I wonder, 79. Huh. I wish I had my Atari 2600 here. Atari has a chip that they use that combines the joysticks and buttons and everything into a more concise signal for the processor. I wonder if this is the same. I wonder if they're using it as the same chip. It's like a peripheral chip. Oh, there's Jer. We just found Amanda Nelson's card inside the computer, and now we're just looking at the board before we rip it apart. And it's got a chip on here dated 1979, and this came out in 1983. Oh. So I'm thinking this is they had a hard. I can't remember what they called it. It was a peripheral chip on the Atari 2600. I'm wondering if they're using it the same for the joysticks, because it looks like it, because it's right next to the joysticks and it's running to it. So I'm guessing it runs right to it. And also the printer port as well. And then it runs a 6502, which is right here. And a bunch of some RAM. Like I said, there's 48K in here, so very neat. I'm going to, we're going to take this off, but I'm going not to damage this board. We're going to keep this board. Like I do with all my consoles, I keep all the boards. Lots of shielding in here. We're not going to need any of that. All right. So here's our case. Looks nice and clean. There's serial number 30743 in here. It's made in Hong Kong. Jeremy doesn't believe that anything was ever made in Hong Kong, because we've been to Hong Kong lots because of at our old company we manufactured all our product in China, and Hong Kong is just, I mean, it's built to the tits, as they say, right to the water, and there's no room for anything else. And if you ever see a tree, which there are trees, I mean, you drive on the side of the highway, you see lots of forest and areas, especially when you go into certain places like Stanley, the Stanley Market. You drive in the Stanley Market, you see a lot of trees, but I guarantee you, under those trees is infrastructure. Right? It's probably a power plant under those trees or something. So we are going to take this off so we can use it, because I don't have any other way of hooking up to the keyboard cable. So Jeremy's going to help me with that. Sure. Yeah, you have to agree. You don't have to say it. So these are the pins here for it. We're going to use a hot air right here. Whoa. So we'll turn this guy on. The little one, big one. And we'll turn the heat up, and we'll turn this temperature down to 3.
Way down.
More?
Yeah, all the way to 1.
All the way to 1. All the way.
All the way. We don't have to have it that hot.
Okay.
I had it like 400 degrees.
Okay. So that gives us hot air out of here. So I'll put your finger on it.
Get some flux going too.
All right. So I gotta put some flux on it. I've never done this before, so you guys get to experiment with me. So this flux will has some acid in it, right? And it's going to help when you get some heat conduct some of the heat as well as break that old solder down and clean up the surface at the same time. Flex does a lot of things. You don't need a lot of it though. Okay, and I need a pair of pliers underneath it or on top. Should I be poking?
Yeah, grab from the other side.
Okay, and you don't think I should solder suck or anything? Just heat it up and pull?
Yeah,
Jared wants to do it.
let's do it.
Jared wants to do it. You want to do it?
I want to do it, yeah.
He does?
You
Okay.
pull and I'll.
Okay, let me just feel what it, I've never even done this yet, so let me just feel what this is like. Okay, I have to move things over a little bit.
It's probably like lead-based solder, so hopefully it flows pretty quick.
Yeah, I bet you it is. I'm just wondering if I'm gonna let Jeremy do it. He knows how to do this. So take it away, Jer.
All right. You can probably just do it from over here.
Do it over there.
Okay.
Yeah, get on camera.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on the stream here. We're gonna make it happen. So we're gonna get this thing nice and warm first. Just do a lot of circle passes on here. And we'll just do that until the solder starts flowing. Then we'll get DJ to help me pull in this whole connector out of here.
I can't even be a backseat driver because I don't even know how to do this.
So I guess you guys can't smell it, but there's definitely some flux fumes coming out.
Oh, that smells like old school. It smells like when I was a kid.
Burning sap.
It's a mix of flux and old solder.
Yeah, you bet. So yeah, I can see some of the connections getting a little liquefied, especially the larger ones.
So why do you choose to use the air versus the soldering iron, Jared?
Well, this will take a lot less time, is the hope. Okay, I think we need to blow a little bit more air on here.
Okay. Turn it up to you want the air, so 1.5.
Sure. Yeah, there we go.
It sounds like it's playing music when you go over certain songs. It's like it's talking to us.
I think it's getting close.
Oh, I see steam.
Yeah. We don't want the. Well, I guess we don't really have to save the circuit board, do we? Probably, I guess. Eh?
I mean, I don't need it to be broken.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be damaged too much either. So.
Yeah.
What
Just
were
don't
you
want to
thinking?
go too much heat because it will start making the fiberglass a little blackened.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I highly doubt the circuit board's gonna get used anywhere, but
Oh yeah, it's time. It's time
it's
to
time,
pull.
eh?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you keep doing that?
Just gotta watch your hands so
Let's
they
get the
don't.
camera on here. There we go.
Oh yeah, it's coming. Just kind of stuck down there. Right?
And in the middle too.
Okay, we'll just focus on those areas. Okay, the middle should be good now.
Okay, now farther down the bottom.
Yeah. Still not coming, eh? Something there that's really holding it in. Oh yeah, I can see the pins right there. Pull near the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top now?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh looks like a one pin that didn't work out perfectly, but push that back in and should be good to go. How did we do?
We did good.
Nice.
We didn't damage anything.
Excellent.
Nice. Thank you, Jer.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Nomad says hello.
Hey, Nomad. Good to hear from you. Usually I put it on high to cool it down quicker.
Okay.
It's underway.
It's all right. No rush. Got all the time in the world. Jeremy's making me tacos for dinner.
Let me know when you want the meat cooked.
Yeah, like maybe in half an hour. Sure. Okay. Because if I don't get this, I won't get it obviously done in half an hour, but we're going to probably end up taking a break. We'll get some food, and then I'll pause the stream, and then I'll come back. Because whether there's a lot of people watching or not, it's irrelevant because it's all documented for the future of mankind. And I like to have it on my channel. So this is what we took off. Looks good. I'm hoping these pins don't pull out. It doesn't look like they do. That's good. Let me get a screwdriver here and push on some of these and make sure that they're in there all the way. Yeah, it looks like some of them loosened up a little bit, so I can push them back down. There we go. Looks great. And I'm going to heat up some of these and just take the solder off of it. So we don't need this circuit board anymore. That is done. Say goodbye, Atari 600 XL. Goodbye. And now, I'm wondering if I should maybe we should take a look at the schematic. Let me find it here for you. Bear with me while I move things around. All right, so it looks like, so it looks like somebody has already done an Atari 800, but they did an 800 versus the 600 that we're doing, but it looks like it's identical. And here's the matrix. This looks very easy for us. So pin number 9 connects to pin number 8, 6, and 1 as modifiers. So these are modifiers for if you held down the shift or control key. And these ones here, so I'm guessing these are like 1 to 8. These are probably outputs, and these are probably inputs at the bottom. So what would happen is it would cycle through each one of these in this matrix. So first it would put power to 1, and they would check all these pins and say, all right, which one of these pins has any power on it? And if none do, then none of these buttons are pressed. Then it'll put power on, then it'll take the power off number 1 and put the power on number 2, and then run through this again in strobe. So this is called a strobe. Let's pretend that the letter T was being pressed. By the time it got to this number 4, it would be able to detect, see number 4 is up to 12, so 4 and 12, so it would detect, if power is on number 4 and there's power also being detected on number 12, the T button must have been pressed. So the side buttons, start, select, option, and reset, it looks like those ones are pretty basic here. They just hook up each to their own. It shows a resistor. These resistors, these are either pull-ups or pull-downs. I'll have to take a look. I don't think those are actually on the keyboard. I'm guessing those are in the Or maybe it's not resistors because there's no drawings on it. I think that's just saying this is the connector. That's what it's saying. These are just the connectors, these little squares. Now if we scroll down, oh, look at this guy did. Jerry cut the connector right off with the Dremel. Oh, that guy. What was he thinking? And he soldered all the wires onto it. That's neat. And then he added the wires to whatever Arduino he was using. Looks like that's a Teensy. And he even got code here for us. Oh gosh. Jer, open source code. Okay. Every time I do one of these hacks, it happened with the Apple, it happened with the Commodore, it didn't happen with the Intellivision. There was nobody had ever done an Intellivision keyboard except for myself. So, okay, I end up looking at someone's code, and it doesn't actually quite work. It's like people kind of partially got their project working, and they eagerly publish it, and no one ever tries to replicate what they've done. So no one ever really says anything about it. So I'm always afraid of using people's code. I end up I download it with excitement, and then it doesn't work. Now, who is this guy? Pixelpratchett.net. If your code works, I apologize right now. I'm going to give you huge props if it does. But if it does not work, we'll fix it. Don't you worry. We will fix it. Okay, so size A and size B. That's not a very descriptive variable. Code sizes A and B. Oh, okay, 8 and 9. Hold on, I'm guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this would be 9. Okay, here's what I'm guessing is that Code Pratchett, Pixel Pratchett, I'm not assuming he's a he. So this individual created two, so there's an array. So this is the array of keys when it strobes. And I'm guessing this is for one side of the strobe, and this is for the other side of the strobe. So we made a two-dimensional array here. That would make sense. Makes a lot of sense to me. He's got a structure here for the modifier. Oh wow, this guy went all out. This person went all out. Size special 20 key maps. Okay, here's the modifiers. Modifier shift key 2, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so when you hit shift on certain keys, it has to produce a different character. So top row. Interesting. You never want to jump to a conclusion that that somebody over-engineered something, but there's a lot of code here. It's interesting use of a variable. So taking this array and then assigning it to a variable and then using it. Oh, what just happened? I double-clicked on this editor. What happened here? What did I do? I don't know what I did. The heck? Escape? Oh my gosh. I'm breaking everything. Okay, what are these buttons? I'm pushing too many buttons. Oh, okay, let me go this back to where it's. All right. Okay, read states, set key, notify change. Okay, set key, does it run a USB? Oh, here's our set key right here. So the key and the modifier, and then it loops through special. Okay, and a mapping of the keyboard matrix to control pins. This is not very clear to me what. So this is the pin on the Arduino. and this is a color. But it doesn't tell. It doesn't tell me what color that means. Like, what does that mean? Is it pin number 1 on the? Okay, I guess we can look at it this way, right here. So this is yellow, yellow, orange, another color. That's bright here. And then there's a dark color and a black. Brown, black. Okay. So it looks like this code is expecting this to be a particular pin going this way. So pin number 21 on the pin map. If we look down into our setup, okay, initialize pins is what he's using. He's not using setup. Is setup being used anywhere in here? Init pins. Okay, nice. Init pins. From 0 to size A, it's output. All right. You know what that means, gang? That the first 8 of these, right down to that 8, that's why he put a 1 here and an 8 here. Oh, this is pin number 1. Booyah. Okay, I get it. Pin number 1 on the cable, which is here. And I just want to make sure that my keyboard matches the layout that he has. So this image shows the vents on the right, and if you look at here, we would have that same layout. So that's good news. What we'll do is we can connect this up now or later, it doesn't matter. And we're going to want to, I'm wondering if some female connectors will actually hook right onto this. What do you think? You think female connectors are going to go on there? No, they're way too small. So what we could do is we could solder male connectors onto these. It might make them too flimsy though. Let me look at what I have for cables. Actually, let me raid Jeremy's cable box. Sure. He's going to grab his cable box for me. Lots of ribbon cables. Thank you, Jeremy. Let's see what Jeremy's cable box looks like. Whoa. Okay, so we want female on one side. That's uberly important to us, to have female on one side. Now, what we could do to be friendly is we could take a cable like this that has female on both sides, and if we go the route that I was thinking, we'll just cut it in half, because it doesn't need to be very long. But we definitely need to decide if we're going to be doing all female or all male.
Spice Girls are in sync.
Yeah, Spice Girls are in sync. All right, so looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 12. And we have another one. Oh, so we have enough. All right. Jeremy's cables in the morning. I've been watching too much Community.
You can never have too much movie.
Okay, so what we're going to do is take these cables and we're going to cut them. Now, they're not going to plug onto here. We're going to solder the wires onto here. That's what we're going to do. Just means a whole lot of soldering and stripping. Let's get stripped. Ugh. Ugh. Too many to strip at once.
You're not using wire strippers?
Wire strippers.
The
I don't use wire strippers.
right tool for the job. Right
Sure.
here in my hands.
Jeremy likes the fact that I solder at 9,000 degrees, and he likes the fact that I refuse to use wire strippers. See, I grew up without a pair of side cutters. When I first got a pair of side cutters when I was, I don't know, older,
A wee lad.
a wee lad, it was a big deal. I stripped everything with my teeth and a pair of scissors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. Real men. Back in the day in Thunder Bay, real men. That's how we built stuff.
Truth be told, I actually had to use a pair of scissors a few months ago.
Oh, did you?
Get our band back from Edmonton and
Use a pair of scissors to
strip some wires.
strip some wires.
You made it happen. Probably took that from you. Some ingenuity there.
Hey, man. The right tool for the job is the one that works.
Touche.
People overly complicate things. They go to Canadian Tire. I need a pair of wire strippers. I need them so badly. To go home to strip a wire that they could have done. But they use a pair of scissors to open the box that the wire strippers are in. Come on, man. Just use the scissors. Yeah. The luxury we have this day of age. When I was a kid, I didn't even have any solder. I'd have to like melt down like old ravioli cans. And I'm just making that up. Melt down lead cans.
Ravioli came in lead cans.
Ravioli came in lead cans when I was a child.
We didn't know any better.
Let me tell you, Sonny, you don't know what it's like to eat lead-based ravioli. All these new kids, these damn fangled millennials.
Like tin cans.
They're tin cans and aluminum cans. They don't know what it's like to have to eat out of a lead. That's all we did. And it's funny that anybody watching this doesn't think it's funny. You know why it's not funny to you? Because you didn't eat lead when you were a child. It makes you think everything's funny. It makes you enjoy life even more than you ever have in the past. You think life's cool now? Wait till you eat some lead, kids. I don't know how long we can hold this lead joke on for. La 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 la. Lots of soldering.
I'm curious to see
what
we got going on in the chat.
No one's saying anything. There's only
Wow.
There was only 5 people on earlier. Now there's 4. It's not a popular chat tonight because it's such last minute and nobody cares about watching me hacking game consoles.
I do.
Well, you and all the people on the YouTubes, but I don't tell those people. They find me later. The YouTube people find me.
Gotcha.
Like the game guys,
Yeah.
the console hackers.
Do they ever comment on your stuff?
They do. They write me messages. They write me nice messages. It actually reminds me of the days when I first started with robotics and people used to write me messages and say, "Love what you're doing. You're changing the world."
Fair enough. I thought they would be like hate messages, like "How dare you destroy this?"
No, the only hate messages I've gotten was the Intellivision.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Intellivision keyboard I got. Remember the eBay guy?
Yeah.
I bought.
Not happy.
He was unhappy. I bought an Intellivision keyboard, and he emailed me and said, "You only bought the one piece. If you don't have the cartridge, it's not going to work." And I'm like, I responded back. He's like, "I have the cartridge for sale, and you can buy it from me." I'm like, "Oh, I don't need the cartridge. I'm totally cool. I'm just going to rip it apart when I get it anyway." And I'm going to add USB functionality. I thought dude was going to be like impressed with it. He writes back, "No, if you, this is a, there's very few of these devices. I don't know if you know the history of these Intellivision keyboards. There's only a few thousand ever made to deal with a legal battle between Mattel and all the customers. I will buy it back from you." He offered to buy it back for me, and like, give me my money back and pay for shipping. And I was like, that's cute. Thanks.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of some of the sellers' remorse before.
Well, if you look on eBay now these days, there's a lot of sellers that really like what they do. Like the ones that are selling specifically video game consoles and stuff. They really do like it, what they do. Because there's a lot of love out there. Okay, so I'm gonna look back at our matrix here, and because we know pin number 1 was that orange color that was documented, or yellow color, sorry, was documented here, and this one here is yellow, right?
Yes.
So this one's yellow, which means that if you look at the picture, that's where we want to start from. So we want to go 1 to 8, and then we want 9 as well. And then we want to go from 10 to whatever. So we want to go 1 to 17, and then the 18 to 20, 21, 22. Those can wait. We can deal with those later. And same with the +5, 19. So how many pins are actually on this thing? Let's find out. Let's count.
Yeah, quite a few, eh?
Let's play counting game with DJ Schurz on Friday night. Here we go, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There's 24 pins, and according to our here, we only need 23 of them. Well, yeah, because we go from 1 to 8, 9, 10 to 17, 18, 19 is a LED. I'm guessing the other, I don't know what's going on with the LED, because like, where's the other end of it? Where's the ground? I have no idea. Maybe 18 is ground? Oh, right here. It's showing us there. There's our LED. So 18, it's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So there's 24 pins on here, and one of them is not being used. Let's take a look at his schematic. It looks like he's using every pin. I don't know if he knows that he doesn't need every pin. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Let's just solder all the wires. All of them. There are numbers on here. No, there's not. I lied. Just a little liar. Okay, so we're going to make yellow pin number 1, just like he had done.
Don't mind me, I'm just getting high over here.
Jeremy, you're doing drugs over there. What are you doing? Nail polish?
Drugs.
Oh. Jeremy's doing some nail polish, huffing nail polish drugs.
So I heard from some reputable sources that nail polish is great for waterproofing electronics.
Oh yeah, nail polish would be great for waterproofing electronics. You just have to make sure that you get it on everything.
Yeah. A good thick layer on there. It's probably the most inexpensive way
To waterproof something? I don't know another way that would waterproof. I mean, you probably get some sort of spray paint.
Yep.
Equivalent.
You can hot glue something.
No, hot glue wouldn't be good for waterproofing. The problem with hot glue for waterproofing is it gets, the water gets under it, and then it just expands and pushes the hot glue away from it. Kind of the same way that when you put rubbing alcohol on hot glue.
Sure enough. Gets up underneath it.
It gets up under it. Gets up under that. Those damn kids getting up under things. Need more lead in their diet. How's that Rossman guy, that guy that does the hacking of phones?
He's still angry.
Is he still angry?
Yeah,
He's a great guy. He's so angry all the time.
Louise Rosman.
Louise Rosman. I like watching him solder. He does really small solders. Whenever I'm soldering on camera, I always kind of laugh, chuckle to myself. I'm soldering like massive things compared to what he does. Like this is like hitting a nail with a sledgehammer in relative to the kind of stuff that he's soldering. Dun, 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 dun. He's been trying to get a bill passed for repairing the right to repair for cell phones, and he was doing a lot of stuff in the States with trying to get like governors and stuff, because I don't know how the political system works in the States, but you have to get supporters, and more than just supporters. I think they're kind of like, what do you call it when you're in AA? You know, Alcoholics Anonymous. You have to get somebody that
Oh, I know what you mean.
what's the word? The person that sponsor. Yeah, you have to get sponsors by political parties to pass bills and get people to vote on it. And then when someone sponsors your vote, then they make it part of their campaign. And he's been traveling around trying to convince companies, or trying to convince governors that what he's trying to say is right. And it's actually really frustrating watching. I watched a couple episodes of him, and the problem is that you go to like the small little community center for some region, like Rossman's been doing, and Louis Rossman, whatever his name is, and he pitches the problem, and everyone's like, small business, yeah, we need to support small business. And then all of a sudden, a guy stands up in a suit, or a woman stands up in a suit from Apple. And this small company is like in the presence of Apple all of a sudden. And everything changes. It's like they forget that there was even a small business talking. Now all of a sudden it's the biggest company in Canada, or in the United States, in the world, and it's Apple. And everything changes. It's like everything that Louis Rossman had said just goes out the door, and these political candidates are suddenly blinded, right, by this corporate identity, and whatever goes to their mind, right? They're like, oh, it's the prettiest girl in the room all of a sudden, and maybe Apple will pick me. Maybe they'll fund my campaign if I'm nice to them and believe what they're saying to me. It is just, I'll be honest, it's just horseshit. It's like, it's 2020 and our entire political system is built on who can impress who the most, right? It's like no wonder IBM and all these massive companies are struggling to figure out how to operate, because they just keep hiring people that feel like making a decision is the same as doing work. I'll say that. Making a decision is not the same as doing the work, okay? I don't care who you are. They're very different things. And all political systems seems to be built on that mindset. Well, I thought of it. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you thought of it. You didn't do it. So hopefully Louis Rossman gets what he's asking for, because I know, there's a lot of people that he's depending on. They're depending on this for their business. You see some of the stories he has, Like people bring their laptop to Apple because it doesn't power on, and Apple says, "Oh, we have to replace your motherboard, your main board, your system board," and they give them a price. And this could be anybody. It could be anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if the person has a lot of money or not. The fact is, not a lot of people have a lot of money.
They're asking like $700.
And they're asking for like $1,000.
Yeah.
They're asking for $1,000 to replace a motherboard with labor and everything. And then they send the computer to Rossman, Louis Rossman, and he gets it. And he goes, "Oh yeah, the symptoms that this person's experiencing is the same symptoms everyone seems to experience with this model year. Guarantee you it's this one, either this one chip or this one transistor on the board. And he'll explain why. He'll be like, oh yeah, because they overpowered this, or they didn't consider this. And his soldering skills are very unique. He'll take off like an SMD, like a surface mounted chip, and put it back on while he's swearing and yelling about something. But he'll fix someone's computer in minutes and then put it back together again and charge them the price of the product, the price of the replacement piece, plus whatever time, like an hour rate. So this person gets their computer back for $100 and something or $200 versus $1,000, right? And Apple can't seem to do that. They're like, it's not in our budget to afford to hire Louis Rossmans. So while you can understand that, they shouldn't remove the Louis Rossmans, right? There's no advantage to removing the Louis Rossmans. Saying that their business model doesn't support fixing a computer with that level of detail does not mean Louis Rossman's business model is wrong or should be affected by that, right? Who gets off saying, oh, if Walmart chooses that they no longer want to sell toothpaste because it's not in their business model, does that mean anyone who shops at Walmart can no longer buy toothpaste? You can't go to Safeway or somewhere down the street and buy toothpaste anymore, right? Like, you can't choose an entire, like you can't affect a business model. That'd be like Henry Ford, when he started selling all those cars after mass-producing cars, saying, "Oh, you can never buy a tire from someone else or gas from anyone else. The gas you get in your gas tank when you bought the car is the only gas you can ever have." Right? Like, and the fact that there's even a discussion about this, when there's like people getting paid to think about it and sit in a room and talk about it, astounds me that in 2020 that it is outrageous that the government has in place laws that prevent people from running a business. It's not like these businesses that are trying to fix cell phones and fix computers are stealing anything, and it's not like they're doing anything illegal. Well, that's just it, is that they're trying to say they're doing something illegal, right? They're trying to say these people are doing something illegal because
they're trying to help people.
They're trying to help people.
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am, I can't help you across the street because Apple says I can't. Apple owns the ability to walk across the street. I don't walk across the street right, so therefore I can't do it. And then Apple has a case too, right? Oh, Chinese knockoff screens. Okay, what about Chinese knockoff screens? They might not work. Okay, so fine, they might not work. First off, the word Chinese anything is terrible. It's racist because everything comes from China. So don't ever say, somebody was like, oh, my American built car. Screw you, buddy. Everything in that car came from China. It was assembled in the United States. Maybe some plastic molding was done in the United States, some injection molding, but I tell you, everything came from China. So don't say that. That's racist. But anyway, let's get back on topic. To say that Chinese screens will break or affect the product experience, okay, I can give you that. It is valid. It may if you buy a cheap screen, but that's the buyer's choice. That's the free market. That's the whole point to commerce. That's it. You have a choice as a consumer. That is, to me, that's the only reason why I still live in Canada. Right? A lot of countries don't have that option for buyers to choose. And removing the ability for people who buy a cell phone or a laptop to only get it fixed at the manufacturer, man, that just boils my noodles, sonny. Boils my noodles.
Brandishes my buttons.
Brandishes your buttons? What does brandish mean? I never heard that before.
I've heard something similar to that.
Something similar, or so you're not sure if that's actually a saying?
I don't think it's the same.
You just made it up. Brandish my buttons. That's okay. We made up lots of words today. I always make up stuff. Put your love back in your pants. Those were
Not a
words.
thing. Not a thing.
That's a thing. It's not on the internet, but it will be.
One day.
One day it'll be a real saying. Jeremy, brandish my buttons. What does brandish mean, Jer? To you?
I don't know.
You're brandishing your butt. What is brandish?
I think I was thinking
Brandish.
of like brazing.
Braise your buttons?
Like brazing my buttons.
Brazing your
Instead of
buttons.
brandish
But
instead.
does brazing mean like you're slowly raising something up and it rubbed against your button?
No, brazing is like
Sounds like you have.
it's like soldering brass.
That's what brazing means?
Yeah.
Oh, it has nothing to do with undoing your
It's like a
zipper?
torch. It's a torch and you melt some metal onto another metal.
I always thought, well, I didn't always think. I guess always, as far as I've ever heard the word brazing, which is now. I thought it meant you pulled it out and you rubbed it against your button and it brazed you. Maybe it didn't feel very good. Maybe it hurt. No?
No.
I don't know how I can say that with a straight face while I'm soldering. I'm so focused on this.
Oh, you're almost done. Nice work.
You're watching? Watching the video?
Do I have...
Watching me live. I didn't need to put that last pin on, but I'm going to do it anyway, just in case. I got my first car. It was a Chevette because I'm so cool. And my girlfriend at the time bought me a gift for like Christmas or something, and it was an emergency case, like a kit, and it was called, or maybe it was from the company, Just in Case. Just in case. It was like, yeah, it was funny. It was adorable. All right, so there's our connector. Here it is. We'll teach it to walk later. Give it arms. Hello there. And it can walk with arms. There we go.
You sound like Popeye.
Does it look like it's walking? Bloodily.
Nice.
Wait, it gets better. Okay.
Why?
So, yeah, you know why you got lots of lag?
Why?
Because I didn't select super low lag today.
Oh.
Okay, so here's our two Arduinos. These are Arduino Micros. We got to solder them together to make them work. And I'm sad, Jeremy. I'm sad because the Pro Micros, the real ones, these ones come with, from Key Studio, a USB cable.
Oh.
And these ones I bought do not come with USB cables. So I have to, and I know I have some, so I'm okay. But I tell you, Jer, it sure raises my buttons.
I'm sure there's a saying.
You're sure there's a saying, all right. As long as you're sure. All right, so we got to solder these on.
Or do you think it's boils my buttons?
Boils my buttons? Oh man, that just draws up too many questions, raises too many questions of why your buttons are being boiled. How'd they get off your trousers into the pot to begin with? You have no answer for that, do you?
No.
Well, Jer, keep your buttons in your pants.
No, not a thing. My bad.
Jeremy's Googling to see if braising my buttons or boil my buttons is a thing. You know that. It's a waste of Google. we Google some pretty funny stuff. Like one time we had a conversation because the internet's not real, right? Like nothing on the internet is legit. Nothing is backed up. The internet has turned fact into a popularity contest. Quote me on that, please, anybody. The internet has turned fact into a popularity contest, meaning that the more people that like something, such as the world is flat, it becomes fact. Now, fact, we're using the word fact incorrectly here because fact, obviously, the world is not flat. But if everyone in the world thinks that the world's flat, it becomes fact. Like it's wrong fact. It's incorrect. But to the world, it becomes fact. So anyway, what were we talking about? Jeremy and I were Googling, and I was talking about how there's a lot of information on the internet that's not real. And I said, give me an example of something. So we thought to ourselves, and we typed in rubbing urine on your head would help you grow hair.
I think it started with peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Rubbing peanut butter on your head would grow hair. And then, sure enough, we found it. And I think we found like a movie or something, peanut butter solution. And then we went, let's go steps crazier. So we type in like rubbing urine on your hair. And then we started typing in like rubbing feces on your hair. And they were talking about like, people were talking about running cow patties, like actual like cow poop in their hair to make their hair grow. And then we found, what was it, something about gasoline? Was it drinking gas makes your hair grow, or putting gasoline on your hair?
It was gasoline in the hair.
Gasoline on the hair makes your hair grow. These are actual real things. Like you guys watching this going, the DJs, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not blah, 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 blah. These are actual real things. You have Google access. You just type it in your Google. Hit enter.
Home remedies for everything.
Just type in gasoline on hair growth. We found poop on hair growth. Like we found so many things. And to those people, it's fact. Ow. I went on a date with girls before, and had friends in the past before who would say really messed up stuff about science and medicines, and I just walk out of the room. I'm like, I gotta go. I can't support this. I can't. Being part of this allows you to talk about it, and the more you talk about it, the more you're using energy to believe it, and I can't be here to support that. So,
hey, I found one of the sayings that involves buttons.
Jeremy found a saying that involves buttons.
Well, bust my buttons.
Bust my buttons?
Yeah.
It's
like, if you flex your tummy and you like your buttons go flying off.
Oh, I thought it'd be like something like bust my balls, but bust my buttons. Bust my buttons. That means you ate lots of food and you're full.
I guess, yeah.
Bust my buttons.
The meaning, but
yeah, that makes sense to me. Nomad says my beer looks heavy. What do you mean heavy? Like I can't lift it?
There's too much in it.
Well, I'm babying it because it's the only beer I have all night. I have one beer.
I think I should probably start on the meat thing.
Oh, Jeremy's gonna go start his meat. Yeah, oh yeah. Jesus, we said half an hour. It's 8:42. All right, tacos are coming, so we're gonna have to take a break pretty soon. I'll just pause the channel and anyone can come back. But okay, so where are we at now? I guess we can. Let's use one of these Arduinos and let's get because the joysticks are going to be easy to do because I already have I've done the joystick drivers so many times. So let's wire up the joysticks now since we got the siren iron going. So here's our connector for the joysticks, and I'll put the link to the 3D printed bezel. I'll show you what it's going to look like. So this is we're going to glue it right into there. Is that going to be nice? That's it. I was going to redesign it so that it was like filled in here and everything, but who cares? We're just going to glue it in. some crazy glue, squeeze it in with a thing, a clamp. It'll be G2Gs. It's a little bit of code for good to goes. All right, let's solder some wires to the to here now. So there is a keyboard or a pinout for this. You know what? No, let's not do this yet. Let's postpone the soldering of the joysticks for a later date. Instead, let's hook up the keyboard and see if the keyboard works, because that's what is the exciting part. We've been waiting for this keyboard code that we're looking at on the screen here. So let me grab a USB adapter. Okay, here's a USB cable. And we'll plug it in my computer. And plug it in one of these guys. All right, she powered up. Now we need to make a folder. Let's see, where's my, I have a folder called here. Personal, Arduino, make a folder in here called Atari 600 XL. And then we're going to want to put two folders in here, one for the joystick. So let's see, the Atari, or where's my Commodore? Apple, Atari, Fairchild, and Intellivision. I don't have the Commodore code in here. That's fine. We'll use the Atari, this code, because I know it works. And it's the closest thing to what we actually want to do. So it's actually identical. Keyboard switches. Wait, maybe this is not the one we want. We want the joystick one, I guess. Let's load it up and take a look. Let's have a little look-see. Oh yeah, this is not the right one at all. This clearly is the dip switches. Boom. Joystick paddle, that's the one. So we'll paste that in here. Fairchild channel F. Look at that. Atari. All right, so this is the joystick, and now we need to make another one for the keyboard, and we'll do that inside of Arduino in the editor itself. We'll paste in his code. Let me see, is there an actual download button here someplace to download the project? No, there is not. There's a zoominium and a bluinium. There's all these different buttons. Copy. Sweet. Paste. No, that copy did not work. Maybe we'll copy like this. That copy worked. File, save, not here. Personal, Arduino, Atari, and we'll call it Atari Pi, Atari 600 XL keyboard. There it is. Okay, big credits and props to this individual who created this code. Let's use the pinouts that this person has designed. I do have a couple of reservations, primarily in the fact that this controller that we're going to use doesn't have that many pins. It doesn't have 20-something pins that are outlined on here. In fact, the usable number of pins we have are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we have 18 pins on here. And according to this schematic, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we need 17 pins to make, remember, we're not going to hook up these ones over here yet. So we need 17 pins to make the actual keys work. The option buttons on the side, we can sort that out later. That's not important to us. So in this person's code, there's a lot of pins that we're actually not going to need. And those pins are, again, are going to be 19, anything above 18 it looks like here. So 18 plus. So +18. So gray is 17. Yeah, so essentially all of these pins don't need to be used. So we'll just remove them for the time being. Boom. And then we want to make this number 23 subtract, well actually we don't have to subtract anything, we go to 17. Go 1 to 17, which means that there's 17 of them. And mapping the keyboard. Okay, so we go 8 by 9, we do not. We go 8 by, wait, I guess we do. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is correct. Boom. And I guess what we're really caring about here are those start and end keys. We just have to remove any reference to those. So this is nice. What this person's done is the code will initialize the outputs and inputs as necessary. That's good. And because we modified we don't have to modify anything for that. Reset states. That's good. Reset read key states. I like my braces on the same line, please. Thank you. That's so much better to read. All right. Read states. That's good. Set key. All right. So the modifier is being set here. That looks fine to me as well. Sometimes if you do have like a preference for how you like your code structured, it really isn't a bad thing to go through it and restructure it while you're reading someone else's code. It helps you learn what it was that they wrote. I could just paste this into Visual Studio and use my existing Visual Studio configuration because it's C code, so it'll parse it nicely for me, but we're not going to do that. All right, so where was our reference to these start and stop buttons? I didn't see them. There's things for resetting this. I wonder if those were never actually implemented. I don't think they ever were. Because we have modifiers, we have everything except for, right? And remember, our size of the array is 8 by 9. So this individual has never actually configured the start and stop buttons anyway. So that's good news for us. Now, the tough news for us is we don't have a pin called 21 on here. We don't have any of those pins. So that's okay. Let's start with 0. So I'll make this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think there I'll go, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So 9, 10, and then we go 16, 14, 10, 16, 14, 15, and then A0, A1, A2. And we have one pin left over after that, which is A3. That's it. Sweet. And just like this person's code, they're yellow, orange, red, brown, black, white. Unfortunately, we just reused that over and over again, so I don't have to write them all in again, but maybe later we can. Okay, so this really should work. Let's see if the code compiles. Checking code. Oh, A0. Is A0, is it supposed to be capitalized now? Right, because A is analog, is it not? There we go. Key pause is not declared in the scope. That's true. Key 7 is not either. Oh, isn't there also supposed to be like an include for the keyboard in here? Right? Is that what it is? Let's take a look. Arduino, keyboard, USB. There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Capital K on this. And we have to do a keyboard.begin. Ooh, there is no keyboard.begin in here. Okay, so let's do that up in our setup. So we'll go keyboard.begin, and then where we send our information, keyboard.set, blah, 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 good. Okay, let's compile it now. Error, oh, we gotta select our board correctly here. This is a Arduino Leonardo, I think I selected as. I don't think there's a Pro Micro option in here. Maybe there is, let's take a look. Yeah, maybe I do. I think I selected as an Arduino Leonardo. Oh, right here. Arduino Pro or Pro Mini. No, that's not it. I think it's this one. Let's find out. It's been so long since I've used it. Again, key pause is not declared in the scope. Okay, so that's coming from the keyboard. So our keyboard library here. Let's look at keyboard press. I think that will give us our key codes. Modify our keys. Oh no. Oh no. Arduino is unhappy with us. Their website is not happy. Keyboard. Oh no. Are we on the right website here? We are too. Arduino, what's going on with you guys right now? Must be doing some maintenance on their keyboard press. All right, Arduino key codes, key modifiers. There's the list we want. All right, is there a button called pause? There is not. Okay, so what is the keyboard pause anyway? So backspace is on one side. Oh, and let's take a look at the web page here. Oh, delete. No. Where's their matrix? Because on this side is that, and this side is pause, and this one is escape. Oh my gosh. And then return. Okay. So backspace is delete. There we go. So it's the number 7. Wait. Oh, break. Oh, I see what's going on here. So this is for number 9. This is a modifier. So break, pause. What do we want to hook up to be break? That's the question. So we can go with, there's a lot of different buttons we can use here. I don't know. Maybe we'll just make it home. Because we don't use home anywhere in here. And then we can set that up to do something. Unless we can always do a search for key pause on the internet. See if there's a code for it. Oh, key code right here. Oh. The pause key is U8 equals 19. So, is that what we think? 19? Let's find out. Yeah, I'll write some there. All right, compile. Key 7 is not a real thing either. Key minus. This is just a minus. Oops. Minus. And the equal key. Key return. Where's our... Oh yeah, key return. That's a thing. I'm guessing that this must exist somewhere. This key W file. Let's do a search. Key H key W dot H. Here's an include file that somebody had made. Arduino. No. No, I thought maybe there would be some sort of include file that somebody made that would make this easier for us, but we already got this far, so what does it matter if we finish off like this? Semicolon. Oh, well. Semicolon. Okay, Jeremy just yelled at me and told me my dinner is ready. That means I get to put this hack on hold. But first, before I do, let's at least get this to compile. And because I can wait another minute. Caps lock. Caps lock is a key, okay? Key space. I don't see I see a backspace. Okay, so that should be easy. Space. Comma. Period. slash. Okay, what kind of slash is on this keyboard? Front slash. And then a B. And a Z. All right, now when we're down here, it looks like, okay, there's a comma, period, and 2, 7, a quote. Delete, insert, backspace, minus. All right. So these are all the modifiers. And equal. So we might as well get all these done now too, because I imagine they're gonna pop up. A comma. Period.
Supper's ready, son. It's time to get off the computer.
All right, I'll be there in a minute. Left brace. I think that. Wait, do they actually have? Yeah, braces look like that. A right brace. All right, let's compile this. And let's see what happens. Oh, more errors. Modifier shift doesn't exist? Come on, shift. Oh, left shift. Boom. And then control. Left control. And GUI? What? Left, shift, control. I don't know what button that is. GUI. GUI. Oh, left GUI. Wow. I don't even know what that means. All right, let's fix our shift first. We'll make them all left. Left, left, left. There we go. Oh my gosh, I should have just done a search and replace in here. So many errors. All right, and now we need to do control key. Control. Control. Compiling in errors is the best. Oh, quote. That's that. We're probably going to have to go through these. I don't know if it's matching up exactly what we're going to expect. Left control. That should be good. Key up. Oh, key up is not a thing. Oh. Up arrow. So key up. Down. And key left. And right. So we still haven't got the code to work yet. Maybe the person who wrote this had an access to some sort of file backslash that had all of these definitions in it. I don't seem to have that file. So missing terminating character. Oh, yeah. There we go. 2 slashes, of course. Backslash again. And equals. Okay. Modifier control. We're getting there. We're getting there, everybody. I can feel it. Compiling. Key 8. 6. We're so close. Keyboard has no called set key. All right, because it's not called set key. I bet you it's something like press, right? Keyboard press. Well, since their website is not working very well, it's tough to find out what to do. Press and release. Oh, this doesn't have a release and a press. So it doesn't know if more than one key is being pressed. And that's fine. I don't think that, I highly doubt that this allowed more than one key to be pressed anyway. So there's press, release, write. Send, modifier. So control key, press. Okay, so we have to set the modifier. So this is press, and this will be press. And then this we can delay for keyboard.release all. And then this has a wait for 100 milliseconds. All right, seems like a long time, but I think 50 sounds like a better number to me. I like repeating. We'll find what happens. This will make it repeat quicker if you hold the button down. That's all. Modifier GUI. There it is again. GUI. Where did we find it before? Where was that GUI button? What? There's only one? I thought we found GUI many places before. GUI. Left GUI. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. I mean, whoever created this code, it compiled. All right, that's good news. So let's not put the code on the chip yet, because we still have to hook up all the wires to it. So let's scroll to the top. And we have our list of wires, and off we go. Let's hook these up. Boom. Oh, it's so hard to read on here. Okay. 0. 0 and 1. And then 2. 3, 4. All right. 5, 6. And then 10, 11. And what do you think, Jared? You think this person's code I found on the internet's going to work, or am I going to have to rewrite it myself?
Not holding on any hope.
No.
But, you know, it's nice to be pleasantly surprised.
That's true. It is nice to be surprised pleasantly. Okay. Now, these are all these pins are left over are the ones that we are going to use for the other Arduino, because they're going to be used for, let's see, these buttons here. So let's now connect our keyboard to it. And let's see if this actually works. Oh, this is tough to get these in. It's just like loose plastic. There we go. Nice. Okay, it's in. Now all we have to do is program the controller, and we should be able to push some buttons. So back to our desktop, and tools, port, upload. La 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 la. Okay, setting up a device. L. Oh, look at that. Okay, it's not right,
It's working?
but it's pretty much doing something. Q works. Yeah. So maybe I should have taken this off upside down. Okay, so let's put springs back in these holes. Hope I didn't lose one. We're gonna have to be looking around for springs if I lost one. I think we didn't lose one, Jay. I think we're good.
Ooh, lucky.
In fact, we have extras.
Um,
What? We have extras.
That's impossible.
It is impossible. All right, we'll push that off to the side. Let's take a look at our little guy here. All right, this is our thing. This is our thing. It has indeed been soaked with something. It indeed needs some cleaning, Jer.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh no.
Indeed, though.
Indeed.
Indeed is good. Indeed means we just spray some booze on it and hose her down. And by booze, I mean some rubbing alcohol. All right.
Do you think if I cover hot glue in nail polish, it would be
No,
a solution?
no. I don't think you should cover hot glue with nail polish. Why do you want to use hot glue?
No reason.
No reason? Did you already do it?
No, I didn't.
Where's my booze, Jer? Where's my booze?
No, but you can have mine. Oh, it dropped into your drawer. Dropped in your drawers.
How'd you know that?
Is that it?
No. Okay, this is useless to wipe off, but I'll do it anyway. This is somewhat useless because the metal has no reason to actually be clean. But when in Rome, I've already cleaned this computer pretty good, so it's got everybody's, the previous owner's butt hair out of it. Do you want me
No, I'm
that
good.
there?
I'm good.
What's that?
I'm good. I don't want that cloth.
You don't want my COVID cloth?
No, no.
Okay. Okay, this looks like I have to disconnect this end here. And then this whole thing opens right up. There's a piece of tape. which allows this to happen. Holy, look at that, Jared.
Yeah.
I got my thing. And I got this thing here. All right, now I just got to spray it all down with some booze. Put some booze on it. And then wipe it down with this COVID cloth. And that'll be nice and clean. It looks dark, like some spots on here are really dark. I'm thinking that this machine at some point was doused in a liquid. And sometimes, I think what eBay sellers do is they say to you untested, and they don't send you the power adapter, because then they have to say it's tested, so they throw the power adapter out or they sell it on another page somewhere else. You know that? Sneaky little guys. It's like that that Fairchild Channel F I bought. It clearly was taken apart by somebody and then reassembled with broken parts. So it's like the reseller, the eBay seller, knew that it was broken from the very get-go. I gotta put some more booze in my sprayer.
What booze do you use?
Isopropyl. That should be the only thing there.
There's two of them, 99 and 91.
Oh, 99 is better.
Is it though?
Yes.
Is it necessary?
No.
They still sell these little bottles of candy?
Yeah, but they're in a different format. They look like grenades now and they're yellow.
And they still spray?
Yes. Little sprayers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is good and clean now. Okay, okay. Now we put, I'm gonna clean this thing off too. When in Rome. Always a good idea to clean your eBay purchases everywhere, not just on the outside. Apparently, you got to clean the buttons. You don't know what you don't know. Now you know. So this goes on there. That goes there. This piece here. I don't think this needs to be cleaned, but we can spray it anyway. Just because this is where the connection occurs. Boom. Okay, now putting this back together. Keyboard. And who should have paid attention to how it came apart? Me! I should have. Good thing I got it on video.
Can't watch it until it's over.
Can't watch it till it's over. This is correct, though. I know it's correct. Because I'm using my old noggin. There's little stoppers here that take it. Oh, there's springs in this one too. Gosh darn it.
Springs everywhere.
Yeah, I just dropped one. Maybe more than one.
2.
Good thing for having a clean office. You can find the things. Find all the things. And this goes here. Which way does it go? This way? Yep, it goes that way. And there are little nubs for this one too. I think we can get away with doing this one after, at the end. So let's do this one at the end. It's unnecessary to do now. Okay, we're just going to feel and make sure we get all the nubs. We do. Now we take this guy, put it on top. Nubalicious. Now we put a couple screws in. There we go. Okay, that's enough for us to test it. We should put this guy on first though. So, oops, turn this around this way. Push it on the bottom. And this one has a little nub. Two little nubs. Little nub. Come here, little nub. Get in there. Sweet. So, Babu Deli says, why not supporting BeagleBone or Pocket Beagle? Because those are computers that are about as powerful as a 2000 or 1998 Windows machine. They're all those Arduinos and things like that, or not Arduino, sorry, Raspberry Pis and SMBs like that. They just use such low-cost processors. They're good for people like you who want to prototype with small little things at home and experiment, but when you get into real processing, they just don't have enough juice. And so now, and the Raspberry Pi 4 is just such a good powerhouse when it comes to powering things like this anyway for game systems. All right, here we go. Plug this in. It's actually hard to get in there. I need to retape this as well. One sec. Good old Scotch tape here to replace what was there before. Some Christmas tape. There, that sturdies it up quite a bit. Makes it easier to get in the hole here. How's your submarine going, Jer?
Oh, not bad. Just doing some testing.
Jeremy's making a remote control submarine. And it's super tiny. Because he's used to that. Tiny little things.
You're so bad.
You're bad, y'all. Oh, there's all these pins here too on the connector. I wonder if any of those ever shorted out to each other. And that's what we just spent the whole time diagnosing. Wonder if I should have hot glued these in. But not yet. Not yet, Joe. Let's see how this works. All right. Whoa. Okay, now we get everything's different. Our return key sometimes. Are any of these touching over here? Doesn't seem like they're touching. So we still have something being pressed. What is going on here? Interesting. Oh. Whoa. I push here. It's actually pushing buttons here. Look at that. I wonder if it's because I didn't put enough screws in yet. I don't think I needed to do what I did. I don't think this needed to come apart at all. I think that there is some code trouble. I think I need to look into the code again. Code trouble. What kind of code trouble, you say? I think one of the modifier keys, the code for the modifier keys is incorrect. And I mean, it very well could be wire, based on wires too. Maybe we have something wired wrong. Yeah, that's better. The keyboard does need to be screwed down for it to work better. Isn't it pushes that flattens the membrane? Insane in the membrane, Jar.
Insane in the brain.
Wonder why its membrane is so insane. Just needs some love. See, we're not getting as much characters pushed on the screen as we were. There we go. So this is interesting. When I push this button, that light doesn't change. Watch what happens when I push this button, plus button. See, when I push it, that's pressed, and when I let go, the light comes on. When I push, there is no light. When I let go, it comes on. Now that light is whenever it's transmitting information to the computer here. So it's writing something out. So what is it trying to write, you might be asking? Well, as you can tell, see inside of our, oh, this is not even working, inside of our serial monitor. It is writing the number 3 with a modifier. And then you can ask, what modifier is it writing? Well, that's a good question. Let's find that out. So I think we can go serial.println. Let's actually put the modifier. We can put this on the same line here. So I'll print out the modifier as well as the KC. Write that out. having two keyboards. I'm writing data and writing stuff to the screen. There we go. Let's see what we got. Ooh, could not find the board on the selected port. Crazy. Let's close down our serial monitor. Sometimes the serial monitor in Arduino messes things up. Still having issues, doesn't want to program. Let's cycle the power. All right, upload. So, oh, it can't find the board. Let's just close down Arduino and load her back up again. Keyboard. Let's try this again. Tools, port, Leonardo, Program. Program, Jeremy. There, uploaded. So sometimes Arduino just needs to be rebooted. That's not a big deal. All right, let's try typing again. There's our H, A, S, D. There's our, look, see that? When I push D, and the number 1 gives me a code 2 with a modifier of 0. So what is a modifier of 0? Do we know? Let's take a look here. So modifier 0. So if the key is that and the modifier equals the in special modifier. Oh, left shift. Oh. This 0x key map entry. Key map entry out. So this is what comes in. So if shift N2, then that. This is saying if 0 and 1, then that. Oh my gosh, guys, hold on. There's some real messed up logic in this code here. Oh, I have a feeling I might be able to comment that out, but then I have to change the size to 18. And this doesn't actually have a period. All right, let's put this back first before I forget. Okay, so here, under tab, so tab is here is F2, and this is saying 0x03. What the hell are you doing here? 0x03, what does that mean? According to our ASCII table, end of text. Why are you sending these weird characters? 0x01. Start of heading. That's not right. So backspace, delete. Next character over should be a greater than character. It should be that. And this should be that. And then a 0, a 9, and 8. And these are all wrong. So backspace, this, that, 0, 9, 8, and then a 7, and then this weird 19 thing here. We're going to make that as well. That used to be, because a 19 is a, again, it's some sort of weird number that doesn't make any sense. And then, and no and then, an escape. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Escape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 6. That's correct. And then return that, P, O, I, and then a U. That's correct. A tab key, Q, W, E, R, T, and a Y. And then beneath that, an F2. So function 2. I don't know what function 2 is, so why don't we make that a hat symbol for the time being? Because it doesn't exist on this. Oh, it does exist on this keyboard. Let's make it one of those, because it doesn't exist right now. And then beside it, tab, is an asterisk. Wow. An asterisk, and then it's a plus. And then it's a semicolon, LKJ, and then F1. Okay, we'll make F1 one of those, the opposite direction. We have caps lock, which we know works. ASDFGH, ASDFH. Okay. And then nothing. And then under caps lock, we have nothing. Then we have this weird inverse button. We'll leave that as nothing for the time being. And then this is not supposed to be a slash. This is supposed to be a question mark. According to this, it's a question mark. But it shows it as a slash on the keyboard. We'll leave it like that. I'm okay with that. And then this is a minus period, question mark, period, comma, MN space, M space N, and this is Z, F3, okay, Z, X, C, V, B, and then help. Oh, that's the button along the side here, the help button. Just wondering what should make that help button. Maybe we'll make it so the key that doesn't exist on this keyboard. Tilde. We'll make it a tilde. And then F3, whatever F3 is supposed to be. Okay. That's not 100% going to fix our problem still, because we still have these 0x00s. Sort of. Sort of. We'll figure that out later. All right. And now we'll go A, S, D, K. D is giving us some weird character. What is D giving us? D is giving us a 46, which indeed is going to be a period. Yes, it is indeed a period. So why is D giving us that? D, there it is there. This whole thing is driving me crazy. Makes me wonder if I should revisit that. We should, you know what we should do? We should look at the GitHub DJ shares. Take a look at my Commodore 64 code. Commodore 64 USB keyboard. I'm curious what I did there. Keyboard. So here's our rows, here's our columns, here's the keys, here's our pin map. Oh man, this is so much nicer. And oh gosh, this makes so much more sense. We should have just started with this. Yeah, having a row pin map and a column pin map would have made things a lot easier. All right. Let's go back to our drawing board here. So, let's see here. So we have a mapping of the keyboard that looks terrible. So this is really our rows and this is our columns. So that should be a lot easier to deal with. Like this, and this is 0. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. And this is columns 1. So this is our rows. So that's our row map, and this will be our column map. And this one has 9 in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this is not size A and size B. This is row size and column size. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice. And then so this is row size, column size. So we can do a repeat on, or a search and replace on this if we want. So this is row size, column size, B, and this is row map, column map. Row size, column size, A and B. Row size, column map, oops, row map. And column size, map, digital read, E plus B, no. This is a call map, B on its own. AB, AB, there we go. Pile that. See what other errors we got here? Nothing? Good. Okay. All right, so now we have the same error, which we should have, same behavior, I mean. It's just now we can make some sense of it. So mapping of row size, column size. So this is the rows and columns. And this whole key mapping thing, I don't like it. But technically, none of this should even been ran, right? This has all been commented out. So this shouldn't have done anything at all. Can we comment something from here? Comment. If the previous state doesn't equal this state, column map, column map. Okay, program that. So now we have this whole modifier thing turned off. So this whole special rows and everything shouldn't, nothing should happen. Okay, and letter F. ASD F is still coming up wrong. And these are actually being done right? They're lining up correctly. Oh, so there's one. There we go. Okay, those look like they're lining up correctly. Yes. Yep. Add some space in here so I can get a better look. Let me look at you better. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. What about our help button? What is that? It's our tilde, like it's supposed to be. Oh. That's weird. A less than character and a greater than character are incorrect. 1, 2. Ooh, those are backwards. Oh, weird. So delete. So our 1 and 2 button. Do you think this whole time? Let me just check here. 1 sec. So delete is backspace. 0, 9, 8, 7. Escape 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you think this all has to do with the fact that we have these two wires reversed? Okay. Now pin number. Oh, weird. Oh. Number 7. Okay. So number 7 is in that first one, which is number 1. Oh my gosh. Hold on here. So 1 is working. Greater than less than should not work. I think if we put this last one on pin A3, this might sound really, really weird. There we go.
Nice work.
Finally. Okay, we have a working keyboard now. This is what I wanted this whole time. That's all I wanted. This should not have taken as long as it has. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Okay, so now we just have to put some hot glue where on the on the connector here. I'll show you on this. So these wires are going to be protected from being twisted around. And then I just have to solder up the joystick connector, and that doesn't take very long at all because I've done it 100 times. And I'll have a working emulator, Atari 600 in a few more minutes. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to disconnect the USB from here. We'll close down our Arduino code, save it, yes. We don't need our Commodore anymore. Do 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 do. The booze. Spray the booze jar. It's boozing time. Okay, we're going to put this off to the side for the time being while we wait for the hot glue gun to warm up. And now we're going to put some screws to hold this in place because this is going to be mounted inside of the... Okay, here we go. So I have a neat idea for these screws. I stole this idea from Will Huff, but I'm going to melt a screw through here, and it's going to come out the other side, and then it's going to be embedded within it because I don't really have a way to connect these plugs to here. So I'm going to do it with a screw. So it's my copycat. So I need to, before I do that, I need to somehow go from this side through so I can mark where it needs to be. So I can probably just do that by melting through like this. Yeah, there we go. That's smart. Do this side. Oh, it smells like baking melted PLA. I miss that smell when I used to have all the 3D printers at my house rocking. Okay, now we have a hole on this side. So I can make this one a little bit bigger. And then put this in here. We want it to be flush. So what we're going to do is, I guess there's really two ways to do it. One is we can melt this in a little bit more. Technically, these don't need to be there for that. Let's see if Will's... Come on, Will, you're the one who taught me to do this. Oh, it's working. Wow, that worked. Amazing. That's just so easy. That's so cool. Sure, look at this. Just take it and just wait. And it goes right in.
Yeah, I've done it before with the servo.
The servo horns?
With the satisfying feeling when it just melts in.
Yeah, and they're perfectly flush like that. Oh man, that's great.
You can countersink it a little bit,
all you can see with your eyeballs. That's all we needed. Wonderful. Now these will go on here. Thank you, Mr. Wilhuff, for this. I'm going to wait for this to cool down because they are still pretty hot. So I need to just give it a minute. And then we're going to put nuts on the back side of these. And, no, it's not this right size. I used to have one of these jeweler screwdriver bits that fit over top of the nut. I lost it. I don't know how, but I lost it. This will work. Oh, that doesn't work. And I think while we're doing that, we can stop for a moment because our hot glue gun should be good to go. And wherever we put a keyboard, right here, we can now do this. So we just want to put a bead of hot glue across these wires here. And that will hold them from moving too much. Put this to the side while the glue dries, and then we'll do the other side after. And then we'll go back to finishing this up while we wait for that to dry. And then we have to solder wires to this. And then we hook it up to the Arduino, and glue it onto the case, and then power up the Raspberry Pi. There'd be 3 people still watching it this many hours.
Hardcore. I'm even calling it quits.
All right.
You guys are more hardcore than I am.
Have a good night.
Good luck with the rest of the build.
Oh yeah. I'll be playing Atari in no time. There we go. So these doesn't need to be very tight. That looks really good. Looks super good. Now we just see that. All right, so back on my computer. Let's take a look at the Atari, because this is the exact code that we're going to need, which I think we have right here. There we go, Atari joystick paddle. There she is. Let's load up the project for it. And while that loads, we're going to flip this over, and Jeremy gave me another hot glue stick, so we can put it in here. And let's run another bead of hot glue across the top. There. That will protect the wires and all the stuff from moving around. Okay, code-wise. So this is do. There we go. Jump 1, 2, and these paddles are not going to be hooked up, so it doesn't matter to us. And the joystick. Oh, it says there's 2 buttons. No, 1 button. True. These 2 is like X and Y, I think. Let's take a look at the constructor and see. Yeah, x-axis, y-axis, nice. All right. Button 1, button 2. So this should just work. I don't need to make any changes to this code at all, actually. It's just, it'll just work. So we'll connect, let's find the diagram for an Atari joystick connector. Atari joystick pinout, because they're going to be the same. There, that's the one I want. Okay, now we just need some more pins, but Jeremy took them away. Let me find them. Okay, let's get some wires. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per. So we have into 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 5. We just find both sides have to be female. There we go. Got what we needed. And cut in the middle, trim, cut in the middle, trim. All right. Tip these guys up. Soldering iron's a little bit dirty from melting all that PLA. Might have to put some tin on it. Yeah, that cleans it up nicely. And according to this schematic, so pin 8. Pin 1. So where's pin 1 on here? There's like a little dot next to it. I can't see it. I think it's this one right here. 1, 5. Yeah, it is. So this is pin number 1. On the far end over here is pin number 1. So we want to go 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6, and I think it's plus 5, so then 7. Yeah, I think so, 7. Let's just verify. See what our code says here. Input pull up in our code. So that means that they're pulled up. So when they're grounded, that's how we'll know that the button was pushed. So we actually want to connect to ground, not plus 5. So we want pin 8, not not pin 6. Or 7, I mean. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then 6, and then 8. And I need something to hold it. There we go. Nice. Next. Voila. Now we just have to glue this into here. maybe we should make sure it works first. Good idea. Okay, so where did I put my other Arduino? There it is. And according to our diagram here, our code here, so joystick number 1 on here, it's the one closest to here. And it looks like it goes up, down, left, right. Up, down, left, right, starting at pin number 2. So up, down, left, right. And then 1 over. And then the push button is number 6, which is gray. And then we have a ground, which is our last one here. There, one joystick should work, and then the other one is buttons or pins 7, 8, 9, 10. So 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 16, which is this color, and then ground. Okay, now just have to plug it in. And then we'll program it. Oh, didn't select the port. There we go. Try it again. And once it's programmed, there it is. Now we should be able to connect the joystick here. So in this case, we can plug it into port number 1 right here. And in our computer, we'll load up something that allows us to test the joystick, like ARC. So we have 2 joystick drivers, and there we go. My button works, my up and down works, but it's opposite. My down is up, my up is down. So that's backwards. So we can fix it in our code. So we can just make that the word down. Or we can just change it here. There we go, we'll just program it again. Refresh this. Oh, I must have changed the wrong one because it's still up and down. So I have a joystick number 2. There it is. I'm going to make this minus, this one plus. All right, one more time. refresh. That's it. It's funny, these old joysticks, you really got a reef on it. Now we should be able to plug in the other joystick. And that one should be the top. There it is. And the button works. Sweet. So I knew that one would be easy. So we can close this down and disconnect it. So now we have a keyboard, a working keyboard, and we have a working joystick. So we're going to glue this into here, right against there. So it looks like that. And we'll use some, first we'll clean it off with some rubbing alcohol. That'll help the glue sit, and I'll go grab some. All right, hope there's some glue left in here. It looks old. Hasn't been used in a while. There's no hole in it to get the glue out. To poke a hole in there. Oh, dentist pick here. There we go. Whatever this is not come out very well. Come on, glue. You can do better than that. It's like a glob of some sort of gel, but it doesn't seem like it's very good. Hopefully this stuff still sticks. I think so. All right, here we go. All right. Let me just wait for this to dry. I got it all over my fingers. very sticky. All right, so now I'm going to put a keyboard back together now that we got it working. It's coming together. Makes me wonder if I should try and make sure this keyboard works since we've glued everything. Oh, we're gonna button that's stuck. There we go. Yes. Now we just have to put it all together. So we take our Raspberry Pi, and these feet don't need to be on it anymore. figure out where we want to put it. Looks like we have to cut a couple of these things out of here that are unnecessary. Like this. Those are old standoffs from the old circuit board, so they don't need to be there anymore. Same with this. Okay, and this will just mount in here, and the keyboard will sit on top. And there's lots of room, it seems like, in there. So this just has to go someplace over here, out of the way. And then we'll run an HDMI cable around. So next we need put a hot drop of glue or some double-sided sticky tape to hold it in place. We'll do that in a bit. Or, actually I have a better idea. Much better idea. Let's take off these feet. We'll put it like this, right there. Right there. We're going to mark some drill holes. We're going to put some holes through here. 1 minute. Boom. Super awesome. All right. Looks like I got it working. Just got to put some screws back in and program RetroPie for the joystick, which I can't do at the same time. So, man, this is super awesome. I'm so excited now. I get to play, finally, I get to play with my Atari. Oh, that was a long hack, and I'm surprised nobody stuck around. Well, it looks like a couple people did. Crazy, crazy couple people stuck around this long. I'm gonna cut it up and shorten it because I think if anyone to watch this in the future, it's like I don't know how many hours we're into this now, but 4 hours or something. So that is a very, very long time. So I'd like to say thanks to everybody who joined in tonight, and I'll edit this video up and put up something a lot shorter, more concise, and then we'll show off the Atari completed another time, and I'll add it to my collection. All right, so thanks a bunch for everybody.